Welcome to the 2020 Sanford Candidates Forum. My name is Sean Sullivan. I'm a York County Co-Star reporter and one of the moderators this evening. I'm joined by Tammy Wells, who is the reporter for two coastal weekly newspapers and formerly was with the Journal Tribune and covered Sanford for many years. This is the mayoral segment of our forum, and this is very exciting because this is the first time in 7 years that we have a contested race for mayor. And like the last time it was contested, we have three challengers. We have three candidates vying for the top elected spot in Sanford. And they are Anne Marie Mastracchio, Victor DiGregorio, and Lucas Lanigan. Welcome, all three of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We appreciate it greatly, especially under these different circumstances with Zoom. Hopefully next year we'll be able to meet where we've met all these past years. A couple of ground rules. We have 4 questions for you, Tammy and I, and Tammy and I are the only ones who have seen them. We worked on them together. We did ask for some public input so that we can either take questions directly or kind of bake some of the issues that the respondents kind of raised into the questions. So hopefully they'll see that if they're going to be watching this. For each of these 4 questions, you each get 90 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds with which to answer these questions. You're going to want to keep an eye on that clock on your screen because with the Zoom technology, once that 1 minute, 30 seconds is up, it goes to mute and nobody will hear what you're saying. So we all have to keep an eye on the clock. After these 4 questions, we're going to have closing statements and you'll each get 2 minutes for that. That's your elevator pitch to voters. Trying to persuade them why they should vote for you. So for the first question for the Sanford mayor candidates, Tammy, all yours.
Hi. There have been some technical difficulties, Sean, and Mr. DiGregorio is not with us at the moment.
Correct.
So we are proceeding. There have been several attempts, and I think there's probably some ongoing attempts. So we'll proceed as we are.
Yes.
So, the first question, please describe the vision of Sanford that you will pursue and what steps you will take to move toward it during your time as mayor. What obstacles might occur and what you plan to do to overcome them. And we will begin with Mr. Lanigan.
Well, thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Sean, for inviting us and having us on this Zoom meeting tonight. It's quite a unique campaign season, so if I could, you cut out a little bit on the first part of your question, Tammy. Could I just get a little repeat on that?
Oh, sure, no problem. Please describe the vision of Sanford that you will pursue and what steps you will take to move toward it during your time as mayor. What obstacles might occur and what do you plan to do to overcome them?
Thank you. So my vision for Sanford is, I think a lot of our residents' visions for Sanford is we need to build up our reputation outside the walls of Sanford and look to attracting more business and residents to our community to help us grow. We find ourselves working in this unique time right now with COVID, so that puts us into a different situation. So we will have to diligently get ourselves through that. But we will do it together. And I think right now what we've seen is Sanford has been put into a rough spot due to COVID. But together, I think that we can work together and we can actually build ourselves up bigger and better than we were before. Some of the obstacles that we run into also are in some of our, we coin ourselves as a business-friendly community. And we are business-friendly, but we need a more business-friendly process. So there's some things in City Hall that we need to work towards as a city council, as a planning board, and some other departments to make this a real place that it's easy to come and start your business and start your family and be part of Sanford. So thank you so much for the question.
Thank you. Ms. Mastracchio.
Thank you. I will just say that in 2004, when I was first elected to the town council, one of the first things that we did was look at a long-range vision for Sanford. And some of the things that we wanted to do and accomplish have occurred. We find ourselves in a really difficult time right now where we may have to be concentrating more on our short-term issues, and we may not be able to move as quickly forward as we wanted to in the past. What I would really like to do is to not lose sight of those long-range vision, that long-range vision that was really important in creating the vibrant community that a lot of people remember and some feel that we are not there right now. I think that people in Sanford want a safe place to live. They want clean water. They want fire and police that work for them. They want taxes that they can afford. And we want jobs that provide enough of an income so that they can afford to feed their families. I think one of the most important visions that I had in the past that we have come to realize is our school system. We are seeing the realization of what we envisioned 20 years ago with a new high school and technical center, pre-K to 4 schools that are equal in every section of the town, or will be when we're finished, a child be able to go to school and stay there from pre-K to 4. That is very different than it was 30 years ago when I first moved to town.
Thank you. Sean?
Question number 2. If social media, specifically the Facebook pages that are in the community, and perhaps some other venues are any indication, Sanford seems to have a segment of its population that is comprised of individuals who are negative towards or feel disenfranchised by or with their local government and other aspects of our community. If you've been on any of the sites, you've seen it, perhaps even participated in some of the discussions that are generated. In your opinion, what is the root cause for people feeling this way about their, and there are people that love our community, and but for the ones who seem disaffected, whether towards the local government or our community in general, what do you think is the root of that? And as mayor, what would you do about it? And the first question goes to Mr. Lanigan.
Okay, so great question. And I think people are disenfranchised a little bit with their local government because a lot of the choices that usually are left up to us as individuals are now being done at a government level. And that started back in March when strict lockdowns of our businesses and our residents and our schools happened. And we all learned how to adapt to that. And when we came out of that, we learned how to safely move about the community and safely go about our business and operate and provide. Some of us had to reimagine how we provided services, but we provide those services now to the best of our ability given the circumstances. I think what happens is that when we're Americans, we love our freedom of choice. That is our golden ticket. And I think that's where it boils down to is people, when they're given the choice to wear masks, to keep their community safe, to go about and do business, they make the right choice when given the choice. Some people won't. It's just like a speed limit sign on your road. There'll be that guy that always does 35 and a 25. But what we have to do is realize that Sanford is a community that cares about one another. We are a service community to many around us. So I think the misnomer that a lot of us are disenfranchised with our government is really just because of our right now, our lack of choice. And once that choice is given back to the people, I think that they will be a lot happier. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Mastracchio, what do you think is at the root of some people's unhappiness with Sanford?
I guess I don't really think it's that they're unhappy with Sanford. I think they're unhappy with their lives. And government is supposed to work for people. It's not the other way around. And I think that as people feel separated from everyday life, I mean, maybe they're having trouble just putting food on the table or having a job, or worried that they're one paycheck away from losing their home. I think that social media has a place, but I think that it sometimes feeds on that negative. And I think that as mayor, one of the things that I would do would be try to give people an opportunity in a face-to-face forum, more of an opportunity than under public comment at a council meeting. I think maybe bi-monthly meetings with the mayor and other councilors and maybe even department heads. We need to really look at the issues that are bothering people, take it off Facebook, bring it face to face as much as possible in a pandemic. And I think that we can do that. But I think that we're ignoring the issue if we allow and encourage the kind of passive aggressive kinds of conversations that I often see on Facebook that are actually sometimes encouraged by elected officials. I have not participated in that. I will not participate in that. And I think that it's critical that we make our citizens feel that they can talk to us honestly and civilly.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mastracchio. Tammy.
Hi. Please detail for us to the degree which you have reached out to people in the local business community to understand their concerns. What have they been telling you? As mayor, how do you plan to help them in the city's ongoing efforts to build our economy? Ms. Mastracchio.
Well, I'm pretty fortunate because over the years, I was involved with the Growth Council in Sanford. I was involved in the legislature with the Labor, Commerce, Research, and Economic Development Committee. I have been intricately involved with economic development in the state of Maine. And I'm aware, and I have been stayed involved with the Governor's Economic Recovery Commission. I think in Sanford locally, one of the issues that I'm hearing from people is that they do not feel that City Hall, and I mean that in a generic way, is that they're being responded to, and that we are as business friendly as we might be. And I think that none of us want that reputation. We want to know that when a business comes to town that they're going to be welcomed. It doesn't mean we tell them everything they want to hear. They may hear something that we cannot make them promises. Everybody has to follow the same rules, but maybe the rules need to be reevaluated. And once again, I'm talking about the kinds of face-to-face meetings that we as counselors and me as mayor would be able to do, because you cannot just leave those kinds of issues that fester underneath. You can't leave them just to the city manager. That's our responsibility. We are the elected officials. And as mayor, that's something that I would take an active interest in.
Thank you. Mr. Lanigan.
Can you repeat again? Sorry.
Certainly. Please detail for us to the degree you have reached out to people in the local business community to understand their concerns. What have they been telling you? As mayor, how do you plan to help them in the city's ongoing efforts to build our economy?
Thank you. So I have actually, in the past couple months of being out campaigning, I've really actually been able to get into a lot of doors and to the phone with a lot of business owners and really find out where the strangleholds are in our process. And identifying those strangleholds are something that I don't think that should be announced here. So I would wait till we get into City Hall to do that, but they have been identified and will be worked on if I am elected mayor. It will be my #1 priority, honestly. Economic development is an area also that we have to focus on. We need to sell our city outside the walls of Sanford. And as mayor, I would be able to use the leverage of that position through our mayor's coalition and also MMA with lobbying Augusta to help bring down other opportunities for businesses to relocate to Sanford, taking advantage of our new infrastructure of broadband, our solar, and our great water that we have here. I think the other aspect that we need to look at is our reputation is just working together as a community within ourselves, our business community within ourselves, and building ourselves up, finding out what the needs are within the business owners here and how we can help them grow. I think by being on the street and being a business owner myself, I have a real good connection and with these other business owners. And as mayor, I would be out there continuously trying to find out and listen to their needs and find out how City Hall and the City Council can best help them move forward.
Thank you very much. Sean?
Okay, question number 4 is a question that Tammy and I refer to, perhaps you've heard us say it before, as our Goldilocks question, taken from the 3 Bears. Property taxes, too low, too high, or just right? In Sanford, please provide details explaining your position on this subject and provide steps for any actions related to property taxes that you feel the town, or excuse me, the city needs to take. And first up on this one is Mr. Lanigan.
Thank you. So the Goldilocks question, right? So actually, I don't think that you'll find that the tax rate is either any of those. I think it's the tax burden. And I think that is too high, and that's on our single family homeowners. That's where 70% of our taxes come from. If we want to grow as a city, and if we want to allow our senior population to age in place, we are going to need to attract businesses and strengthen our economic development here in Sanford. Just by developing downtown alone, we could add close to 2,000 jobs. That right there, those businesses, those are low impact services that they take out of the tax base, and it would reduce the leverage on the single home tax base that we have. That has been our problem. That's the problem that we have identified over the last 4 and 5 years that I've been sitting on the city council, and we've worked each year to lower the mill rate. What is happening now is you're seeing the value of Sanford going up. So that is good for the homeowner, but the burden on the people renting is getting increasingly hard on them. So we need new development to offset that on larger developments with lower impact of services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lanigan. Ms. Mastracchio, what say you about local taxes, property taxes?
Well, I will tell you that one of the reasons that I ran for the state legislature was in 2010, when we had to raise our property taxes 10%. And the reason that we had to do that was because of the decrease in revenue sharing from the state of Maine. And when we looked at just this past year at what the rate of increase was versus the decrease in revenue sharing, they correlated perfectly. So shame on me as a town councilor that I never went to advocate in Augusta. Now I know that revenue sharing was basically taken from the municipalities because they were trying to balance the state budget in the middle of a recession. So over the last 8 years, the things that I've worked for is to increase revenue sharing. We accomplished that. Increase the homestead exemption. We accomplished that. Fully fund to the degree or more fully fund the homestead exemption, because when the state gives you a benefit like that and doesn't fully fund it, then the taxes are just shifted onto maybe the business owners. I'm trying to think. The other thing was we increased EPS funding for schools, and I was able to help get something in the budget which upfront funded CTE programs for technical education for new programs, which we used to only be able to get that in funding like 2 years down the road. So that meant the city of Sanford had to fund it upfront, which was an expense to our taxpayers. So I have worked very constructively over the past years.
Excellent. Thank you very much for both of your answers. And now comes the elevator pitch, the end of the segment in which you get to speak directly to viewers and ask them for your vote and explain why. First up, Mr. Lanigan, your closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Anne-Marie. It's been a great conversation. So having made my home in Sanford over the past 18 years, along with my wife, Catalina, and our 4 boys, Alex, Camilo, Simon, and Santiago, I have come to know a lot of people and love this city and the community we have become a part of. My commitment to work hard for our community is steadfast. The ideas that I bring to the table are creative, forward-thinking, and aimed at growing Sanford's economy, strengthening its sense of community, and updated its antiquated infrastructure, and ultimately moving our city forward, all while creating an environment to reduce the tax burden on the residents of Sanford. With a strong community and a technological foundation in place, marketing our fair city beyond our borders as a place for businesses to succeed and families to thrive would be to our advantage. Leveraging the Maine Municipal Association, the Mayor's Coalition, and the relationships I have formed in City Hall and beyond will help move Sanford towards our goals for our future as a city. We must commit ourselves to investing in the strengthening of Sanford's reputation as a community and a place to do business. Together, we will continue to garner social capital among our organizations, both private and public. There is no more important social capital than our young people. Investing in our youth is imperative. Quality education in our schools must be a priority, as should drug prevention and intervention programs. I ask tonight gracefully for your vote, and I promise to earn it each and every day on the job. I will leave you with a quote from the late Justice Ginsburg. To make a life a little better for people less fortunate than you, that's what I think a meaningful life is. One lives not just for oneself, but for one's community. And I just wanted to thank everybody. I want to thank the residents of the city of Sanford, and hopefully I will be able to earn your vote on November 3rd. And please don't forget, if you want for your safety, to vote absentee. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Lanigan. And our final closing statement, not just of this segment, but of all the segments we've done today, Ms. Mastracchio.
It has been my honor to serve the people of Sanford over the past 29 years, from school committee to town council, culminating in 8 years as one of your state representatives. I have found public service to be rewarding. At the outset of 2020, I did not expect to be before you as a candidate for mayor. However, as our lives were turned upside down by COVID-19 and a shutdown of our economy, I realized Sanford would need a mayor with experience in all aspects of municipal, school, and state governance. A mayor with a demonstrated ability to work collaboratively with others, able to effectively navigate the challenges we are sure to face over the next 2 years. Compromise and cooperation are often difficult in the best of times, but they will be essential as we develop and implement a local economic recovery plan, even as we continue to protect the public health of our residents. It will be a priority of mine to do whatever is necessary to safely keep our schools open and functioning, while we support the needs of businesses who have suffered declines in customers and income. Science and facts have convinced me, though, that we must control community spread of this virus to have a sustainable economic recovery. In this case, public health is equal to economic health. Finally, experience has taught me the divisive partisan politics do not produce good results, especially in local governance. Sanford has benefited over the years with local elections and boards that are by city charter nonpartisan. This has allowed for positive civil discussions that deal with issues and solutions, not ideology. As your mayor, I will continue that tradition and will expect the same from those I serve with. We have an obligation to make government work for all of us, and we can do that honestly, respectfully, and kindly. Our citizens deserve no less. I request your consideration and your vote on November 3rd. And thank you for providing Tammy and Sean the opportunity.
Thank you. You're welcome. And thank both of you. Thank both of you for participating this evening in the forum. We wish you luck as you seek to succeed Tom Cody as our mayor. And this brings to an end the mayor candidates segment, but also all the segments that we've done. So if you watch them in order, and this is it, thank you for watching all of them. Thank you for joining us on this. And a few people to thank before we go. Tammy, I want to thank you. As always, this is a pleasure. We've been doing this for a few years now, asking these questions together, and wouldn't want to do it without you. Thank you very much for being here this evening. And thank you. And also Brett Williams, the director of the Sanford Performing Arts Center. He was our audio engineer this evening. And also Sarah Schnell from WSSR-TV. She's the manager of that station located in the heart of Sanford High School. Paul Auger, speaking of the high school, history teacher there and local historian. He was our timekeeper. He kept the trains running on time, as we like to say. And last, and certainly but not least, Ann Hanselman, city councilor, who organized the whole thing. She brought the team together to make this production happen. She worked with the candidates to make sure that they were aware of this evening and took part. And a lot of logistics. This was big. There were 19, 20 candidates, I believe 8 races, 6 segments. And Ann was the one that brought it all together. So Ann, thank you very much. And just to kind of, paraphrase what was said earlier, please vote on Tuesday, November 3rd, or if you prefer, before then, absentee. Thank you very much, and
Good night.
have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.